In this tutorial session, we'll be continuing with Assignment 1 series. If you haven't watched the first lesson, please note that we've already covered the first paragraph of our meeting minutes, and now we'll be focusing on the second paragraph. So this is how we are going to proceed. We are going to read what was said by Mr. Moss. The text that is in red contains information that we consider not to be important for our meeting minutes, and the text that is in green contains information that we consider to be important for our meeting minutes. We are only going to use the text that is in green to write our meeting minutes. Okay, so let us read what was said by Mr. Moss. Thank you very much, Chair. The College Board acknowledges the financial struggles that the parents are going through. It is just unfortunate that the National Students Financial Aid Department is unable to fund every applicant for various reasons. Thus far, the College Board has recommended that some of the debtors be handed over to the Credit Bureau for further investigations. Okay, now that we have read what was said by Mr. Moss, let us take the text that is in green and rephrase it using formal language. I think it is important to note that some of the text from your transcript is actually using formal language. So the only thing that you can do in such a case is to just convert from present tense to past tense, okay? And this is a typical example. If you compare these two statements here, you will notice that I've only changed the text to past tense, and the information is basically the same, okay? So this is how you could have included this information in your meeting minutes, okay? Mr. Moss reported that the College Board had recommended handing over some of the debtors to the Credit Bureau for further investigations. So let us read what the next speaker said and try to use the same process to analyze it and capture it in our meeting minutes. Like I've explained in the previous slides, the text that is in red is what we consider not to be important. The text that is in green is what we consider to be important. In this case, we have text that is in purple. The text that is in purple contains some of the information that we can include in our meeting minutes, but we need to summarize it, okay? We can use fewer words than what had been specified here, okay? So let's read what Ms. Moll said. Ladies and gentlemen, finances are a very sensitive topic. Most of us parents are really trying hard to make payments, but like you already said, Chair, it is such a struggle. One of the reasons why I and maybe most of us parents struggle to pay our children's tuition fees is that we are over indebted. I heard about debt counseling over the radio and TV and visited one of the national credit offices to find out if I could get assistance with debt counseling and advice on how to meet my debt repayments. The counselor explained the process of how an over-indebted consumer can apply for his or her debt to be restructured so that he or she could pay household expenses and still be able to pay off such other debts as college fees at the end of the month. If you are battling with debt counseling may be one way out of a tight spot without having your goods repossessed, getting blacklisted by a credit bureau, or getting your child suspended or kicked out of the college. Okay, so now let us use the text that we highlighted in green and purple to rephrase this information and write it in a formal language. And we are going to do that in the next slide. Looking at the text that is presented on your screen, you'll notice that we've used three colors, okay? So it is important to note that the text that is in green here from the original text from the transcript is converted to the text that is in green here, and the text that is in blue here is converted to the text that is in blue here. The text that is in purple contains information that we've used in this blue text here, okay? So let me read what Ms. Moll said and then show you how to convert it to formal language just like I've done here, okay? One of the reasons why I and maybe most of us parents struggle to pay our children's tuition fees is that we are over indebted. Okay, so you could have written this information like this. Ms. Moll suggested that some parents struggle to pay tuition fees because they were over indebted. Okay, so you'll notice that I've already removed the I and maybe most of us parents, because all of these refer to parents, so you don't have to over elaborate on information like this. Okay, just write it in a professional manner. Okay, so let's read the text that is in purple and in blue and see how that was converted to the text that is in blue. Okay, the counselor explained the process of how an over-indebted consumer can apply for his or her debt to be restructured so that he or she could pay household expenses and still be able to pay off such other debts as college fees at the end of the month. If you are battling with debt counseling may be one way out of a tight spot. Okay, this information uh, could be restructured like this. She proposed that they should consider using debt counseling to help them settle their debts. If you compare these statements here, you'll notice that I've summarized this information here. Okay, I did not have to over elaborate on how debt counseling can play a role, other than the fact that it helps the person actually settle their debts. Okay, so that is how you extract key information. Okay, so let us look at what the next speaker said and then try to analyze using the same process again.